They say a house is a sanctuary, but when you're over 60 and the rooms are silent, a house can quickly become a tomb. If you fall today, right now, in your kitchen, who is actually coming for you? How many days would pass before the neighbors notice the mail piling up or the lights staying on until dawn? That is the question that keeps us awake at 3 in the morning. It isn't just a scary thought. It is the reality of living alone as an older woman in a world that has already started looking past you. I'm Eleanor. I've spent the last decade navigating the shadows of this house after my Richard passed. I've learned that living alone isn't just about managing the grocery list or the utility bills. It is a psychological war. It is a battle to remain seen, to remain capable, and to remain human. Most women my age are making mistakes, huge, life-altering mistakes. They think they're being strong. They think they're being independent. In reality, they are walking straight into a trap. They think they're being independent. In reality, they are walking straight into a trap. If you want to survive these years without losing your dignity or your mind, there are things you must absolutely avoid. These aren't suggestions. These are the rules of the game. And believe me, the stakes are as high as they get. 1. Never avoid the noise. Silence is the first sign of surrender. When I first started living alone, I loved the quiet. No more loud TV, no more snoring, just peace. But peace has a way of turning into a vacuum. You start talking less. You start thinking in circles. Eventually, the only voice you hear is the one in your head. And that voice? It isn't always your friend. It whispers about the things you can't do anymore. It reminds you of the people who haven't called. You must keep the noise alive. Turn on the radio. Talk to your plants. Call the telemarketers just to practice your vowels. I make it a point to go to the grocery store every single day. I force the world to acknowledge my existence. If you stop making noise, the world will assume you're already gone. Don't let the silence swallow you. It's the easiest way to disappear while you're still breathing. 2. Avoid the lie of, I can do it myself. We were raised to be tough. We were told that asking for help is a sign of weakness. That is the biggest lie ever told to our generation. At 83, pride is a luxury you can no longer afford. I remember trying to move a heavy rug last winter. I thought, I don't need to call my son. I'm fine. I spent the next 3 days on the floor because I threw my back out. I couldn't reach the phone. I couldn't reach the water. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, realized I was nearly a headline. Independence isn't about doing everything alone. It's about being smart enough to stay in the game. If you can't reach the light bulb, don't climb the chair. If the jar won't open, wait for the neighbor. Refusing help doesn't make you strong, it makes you a liability. Every time you take an unnecessary risk to prove a point, you're gambling with your life. Is proving you can move a chair worth a broken hip? No, it's not. Learn to say, "I need a hand." It's the most powerful sentence you have left. 3. Avoid the someday list. When you live alone, it is very easy to start living in the future or the past. You save the good china for someday. You wait for a special occasion to wear the nice perfume. You tell yourself you'll visit that museum when the weather is better. Listen to me. Someday is a myth. At our age, someday might be Tuesday, and Tuesday might never come. I spent years saving things for a future that Richard and I never got to see together. Now I use the silver every morning for my toast. I wear my best silk scarf just to walk the dog. Why? Because I am still here, and here is all I have. If you find yourself waiting for the perfect moment to enjoy something, stop. That moment is right now. Don't leave your best life for your heirs to sort through in a cardboard box. Use the candles. Drink the expensive tea. The only thing worse than dying is realizing you never actually lived with the things you loved. 4. Avoid neglecting your physical space. A house reflects the spirit. When you live alone, it's easy to let things slide. A pile of mail here, a dusty corner there, a leaky faucet you've ignored for a month. You think, who's going to see it? Why does it matter? It matters because you see it. Neglect is a slippery slope. If you let your house fall apart, you will start to feel like you are falling apart too. I've seen women my age let their homes turn into museums of decay. They stop cleaning the guest rooms, they let the garden die, and slowly their own sense of worth dies with it. Keep your space sharp, fix the things that break, keep the windows clean so the light can get in. If you can't do it, hire someone. If you can't afford someone, find a teenager on the block who needs $20. A well-kept home tells your brain that you are still in control. It tells the world that a person of value lives here. Don't live in a waiting room for the end. Live in a home. 5. Avoid the fear of the phone. I know, the phone is exhausting. It's usually your kids checking in with that worried tone. Or it's someone trying to sell you insurance you don't need. It's tempting to just let it ring, to stay in your shell, but you must avoid the urge to isolate. Social death happens long before physical death. If you stop answering, people will eventually stop calling. It's not because they don't care, it's because they're busy, and they'll assume you want to be left alone. Make the effort. Even when you're tired, even when you have nothing to report. Tell them about the bird you saw on the feeder. Tell them about the book you're reading. The connection is the lifeline. When you live alone, those digital threads are the only things keeping you anchored to the world. Don't cut them out of spite or exhaustion. Pick up the phone. Be present. 6. Avoid ignoring the whispers of your body. We've all got aches. We've all got pains. After 80 years, the machine starts to creak. Most of us choose to ignore it. We call it getting old, and we keep quiet. We don't want to go to the doctor. We don't want another prescription. But small problems become catastrophes overnight when you're alone. That slight dizziness, it could be a stroke in the making. That nagging pain in your foot, it could lead to a fall that ends your independence. Don't be a martyr. Pain isn't a badge of honor. It's a warning light. I have a rule for myself now. If something feels wrong for more than 48 hours, I call the clinic. I don't wait for it to go away. I don't pray it into submission. I deal with it because I know that a healthy body is the only vehicle that's going to keep me in this house. Take care of the machine, or the machine will fail you when you need it most. 7. Avoid giving up your why. This is the most important one. Many women live alone and simply wait. They wait for the kids to visit. They wait for the news. They wait for the end of the day. They have no mission, no reason to swing their legs out of bed in the morning. Living without a purpose is just a slow way of dying. It doesn't have to be a big purpose. You don't have to save the world, but you have to have something. For me, it's picking up Emma from school. It's making sure the neighborhood cats are fed. It's writing these thoughts down so maybe one person feels less alone. What is your why? If you don't have one, find one. Volunteer. Learn a craft. Teach someone how to bake the bread only you know how to make. If you don't have a reason to stay, your spirit will start to check out long before your body does. Don't just occupy space. Contribute to it. Living alone as an older woman is a high wire act. There is no net, but there is a certain beauty in it too. There is a freedom that younger people can't even imagine. You just have to be disciplined. You have to be honest with yourself, and you have to avoid the traps that society and your own mind will set for you. I want to ask you something today. When was the last time you truly felt useful? When was the last time you felt like you weren't just a spectator in your own life? I'd really like to hear about it. Tell me in the comments what keeps you going. Tell me about the rules you live by. We need to talk to each other. We are the only ones who truly understand this journey. And if you found any value in my words today, please consider subscribing. It helps me know that someone is listening. It helps me feel like I'm still making a bit of noise in this big, quiet world. Thank you for spending this time with me. I know your time is precious. I know every minute counts. Take care of yourselves. Keep your lights on. Keep your chin up. I'll be here next time, still figuring it out, right along with you. Good night.